Midcoast Ukes, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about survival techniques when you're an amateur ukulele player in a ukulele group, as some of you are in Midcoast Ukes. And anyone else may be tuning into this that is in a ukulele group. This is a common issue that I hear people have. Of course I talk about rhythm, and rhythm being probably the single most commonly talked about subject when it comes to musicianship and what people struggle with. But I found one of the top ones, up there in the top 3 or 4, is keeping up, getting left in the dust tempo-wise and not being able to strum fast enough, not being able to change chords fast enough, having your agility and your speed just not up for keeping up with the group. I hear that occasionally. I know some of you that's not an issue. You're an accomplished player, you have been doing this for a long time, and things don't really intimidate you. You generally can hang with a ukulele group doing simple music that only has, basic chords and basic strums. But for those of you that feel like sometimes maybe you're struggling, this one's for you. Or those of you that feel accomplished but do occasionally find yourself getting left in the dust, getting lost on the song sheet, or just not being able to get that right hand swinging fast enough, that sort of thing. So anyway, we are going to talk about tempos and metronome and all that kind of business, but first I need to tell you what that was I was playing. That was Rolling Home to Old New England, a nice old sea shanty type tune, maritime oriented tune, and we had at one time planned on doing that in Midcoast Ukes. We were going to do a gig that was a maritime oriented gig for the anniversary, the bicentennial of Searsport. That didn't happen due to COVID, but still that song is near and dear to my heart. I keep it kind of around, and maybe we'll do it again someday. It's a fun little sea shanty. There's lots of sea shanties out there. It's been a trend I've noticed in the last couple of years. Sea shanties have had a resurgence. All of a sudden they're hip and trendy, which is odd. That's like the last style of music in the world you would think would be on the cutting edge, but it certainly is. So anyway, without further ado, the song is easy. It just has 3 chords. It's got an A chord, and we're in the key of A. It's got a D chord. It's the 4 chord for those of you up on music theory. And it's got an E chord. For those of you up on music theory, that's the 5 chord. A lot of people struggle with E, but E7 is sometimes a good substitute for E. And in this case, you could get away with E7. But I think of this more as a folk-oriented tune, and when I think folk, I kind of think major chords, not 7th chords as much. So I tend to use the harder E chord. But if you want to use E7, that'll work. That's okay. It won't clash terribly with everyone else's E chord. Alright, so there's that. Got the chords out of the way. The strum that I was doing was kind of like the Mr. Tambourine Man strum from Bob Dylan. Here it is in super slow motion. So what is that? I hit the top strings on a down with my index finger, using the nail and a little bit of skin, tip of my finger. Then I hit the further away strings, the strings closest to the floor, on a down. Then do a faked strum on beat 3, excuse me. I do not hit the ukulele there. Do my famous patented fake strum. But then I follow that up with an up, down, up, an up strum, a down strum, and an up strum. Down, down, fake, up, down, down, fake, up, down, up. Those are the moves all separated. So for some of you, that might be a brand new strum. You might not have ever heard of a faked strum before. You might not have even tried that technique in your whole life. You might be somewhat confused with all the down and up business. So for those of you that might feel a little left behind, you can simplify the strum. Here's one survival technique: is don't do all of that. Do something much simpler. Go 4 simple down strums. You can even do that with your thumb if you have to. It sounds pretty decent. It's very acceptable. There's no shame in doing a strum that simple. So yeah, you could play the song with just that. Rolling home to old New England. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That totally works, and you can do it at a nice slow tempo like that. The actual tempo that you hear this song performed at is somewhere in the vicinity of 100 beats a minute, 103 beats a minute. Here's 103 beats a minute on my metronome so you can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Rolling home, old New England. Dun, 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 dun. So that's pretty brisk. That's a fairly fast tempo, and you might feel a little left in the dust by that. It might be hard to keep up with. So what's the simple solution to that? Play it slower. Don't have your metronome set at 103 beats a minute as I just had. Cut it way, way down. Go down to, let's see, I'm going to knock mine down to, let's do 75 beats a minute. This is what 75 sounds like. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Rolling home to old New England. Dun, 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 dun. It's pretty relaxed, and if you're doing just simple down strums with your thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That isn't that intimidating. That definitely is something you can keep up with. So yeah, knocking it down to that many beats a minute, 75, might be the solution for you. And then maybe in a couple of days, a few days, you're feeling a little more adventurous, get it up to like 78 beats a minute. Then keep plowing ahead and you'll reach 80 beats a minute. Before you know it, you'll be up to that 103, which is a very brisk tempo for a song like this. So it's all the difference in the world, slowing it down. So that's one survival technique, slowing it down, practicing it, slowly building up the speed. But that means actually practicing. That means getting your ukulele off the shelf, dusting it off, making sure you're in tune, and sitting at home and working on songs apart from any group that you might participate in. So you got to practice. Practice makes perfect. And perfect practice makes really perfect. So this is perfect practice where you're doing it with a metronome. You're doing it with perfect metronomic timing. And you're doing it at a tempo that allows you to play it perfectly, which is way better than struggling and just hanging on for dear life. You'll progress faster if you practice with a metronome and you do stuff slow. I highly encourage it. So hopefully that made sense to you. And then eventually you bring it up to tempo. So yeah, we'll be looking at this song. We'll be revisiting this. And any of you that object, if you feel like, nah, I hate sea shanties, I hate that stuff, I don't want to do that song, let me know. We don't have to do it, but I've just been toying with the idea of bringing that song back. There's a few songs I'd like to bring back when we start meeting live again. So we have one more jam left to go outside pretty soon on a Saturday, and then we're going to be convening in our super secret location, undisclosed location, in a super secret bunker, doing our weekly practices. All right, Midcoast Ukes, you take care. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.